Hello and welcome once again to Africa 24. This is 60 Minutes by Zalendo. And today I've got very out analysis of the coming by elections. Remember, all the campaigns are over. They were over yesterday, and the candidates are ready to face it off in the coming by elections. We will analyze for you all the scenarios, what it means to the political parties and the candidates. And otherwise, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to 60 Minutes by Mzalendo. And tonight we take you inside Kenya's 2025 by elections, which will be held on November 27th. Uh, the contestants have been campaigning and they have been kind of rehearsing for 2027 general elections. Kasipul, Mbeere North, Kilifi, Magarini, Malava are not just constituencies, they are battlegrounds where parties test their strength and coalitions measure their unity, and the country glimpses its political future. Now, let us look at the by elections in Kasipul, that is in Homa Bay County. That's the Luo Nation. This is a county that is dominated by ODM. ODM faces its first test without Raila Odinga. And they have a young candidate there by the name Boyd Were carries the flag of the Orange Democratic Movement. But there is independent candidate Philip Aroko, popularly known as Otete, has mounted a very serious campaign and challenge against Boyd, even winning support from the Homa Bay Deputy Governor, Honorable Oyugi Magwanga. But that area is marred with a lot of violence, raising questions about ODM's grip on this traditional stronghold. If ODM loses in Kasipul, it signals that Raila's absence has left a vacuum in Nyanza politics. I listen to that very carefully. These elections in Kasipul Kabondo is very important for the ODM brigade. If they happen to lose this election in Kasipul Kabondo, what it means generally is that ODM will lose its grip in the Nyanza region. That is an indication of what is going to come in 2027. So keep an eye on Kasipul. We have very strong candidates. A very strong candidate there by the name Philip Aroko, popularly known as Otete, is going against Boyd Were. Remember, Boyd Were is the son of the late Ongondo Were, who was the former MP for Kasipul. So take a look at this particular by-election and make sure that you take your notes there, because this by-election will reflect what will come in 2027 elections in Nyanza. And if you are a politician planning to vie, please take a very keen look of what is going to happen in Kasipul. Whether that vacuum is there, we will see in the next few days. Now, again, we will go to Mbeere North. Mbeere North is in Embu County. In Mbeere North, remember the MP was given a CS position. This is an area where it's predominantly it was a it was a predominantly a stronghold for UDA in the previous elections. Now, with the absence of Gashagwa in government, there is a problem there. There's a candidate for UDA called Leonard Wamudinde, who is facing off with Newton Karish. Karish is a former is was an MCA in that particular area. Remember, Newton Karish is running on a DP ticket. He's not even running on a DCP ticket. So the opposition in in Mbeere have ganged up to support one of their own against the president's party, and of course against Kindiki. So this election will determine a lot of things. This is another key point that you need to listen to. If Kindiki loses grip in Embu, I can tell you that there are good signs that he will not be William Ruto's running mate in 2027. And there is also a good sign that William Ruto is looking at the indicators of this by-election, which will inform him of the reshuffle that is coming in government. So keep it locked here on Africa, because here is where you get the unique analysis of how politics, how things are going to happen beyond 27th of November to 2027. And again, this is what I want you to do. If you have not subscribed to our Friki YouTube page, please nenda hapo upige, tafadhali utupatie like, leave a comment. I'll be able to read it, I'll be able to follow you, I'll be able to see what your analysis are. If you are if you want to join me in the studio, please, if you are welcome. Each and every other time that you see me here, you can leave a comment and we will be able to analyze your comment and see whether you are right. I can see so many people watching us. Cliston Jr., thank you. Good morning, wherever you are. Leonard, John M. Etamuku, Charleston Jr., Leonard To, Gabi Mure, John Samson Ruto, Dan Alessa, Leo Nyabaya, asante sana Leo, Kevin Muguna, thank you for watching. Thank you for all those who have tuned in to our freak this evening and this morning for watching this particular very, very important episode. Now that the candidates have finished their campaigns, they are ready. People are in panic mode. If you are a contestant right now, you have to make sure that everything is in order. Your agents are in place. The budget is done. The food that you're going to eat, it's a lot of process. It's not over yet. You make sure that each and every polling point you have an agent. Not these other elections that we're being told that yeah, sisi tutaenda tu bila agent. Alafu mnaoshwa, alafu mnakuja kuteta ati hizi tulienda bila agent. Angalia elections vile zimefanywa sahii. Every other candidate has got an agent in all those polling points, and it is important. So, if you're planning to run in any race, make sure that you've got agents in all those polling stations. I was talking about the Deputy President Kindiki Gachagua and Rigathi, the Deputy President Kindiki and the former our Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua have turned the race in Embu. The race, I've turned this race in Embu into like a proxy war for Mount Kenya East. A UDA victory would consolidate President Ruto's base. Yani Ruto akishinda Mbeere, ole wako Gachagua, and people who have been behind DCP. If and Kalonzo, if William Ruto wins uh, in Mbeere, I think that is a good sign that there'll be victory for William Ruto and troop in 2027. So pay a keen attention. What we urge you members of the public who are in Mbeere or Kasipul and other places, watch any violence. Stop chopping each other because of politicians. These politicians, they smile, they call each other. Each and every time their kids play together, they do business together. Wewe raia wa kawaida unataka kukufia mwanasiasa, what for? Upuzi mtupu. Like what we've seen in Kasipul. Why should people die? Why are people chopped with machetes? Kwani kuna watu wale wananyonyaga watu damu? Are there vampires in this political races that people have to, suck some blood in order to win. Please, violence, ikome. Let us not fight because of politics. Let us compete in an ideology, compete with ideologies, and that is it. That is what we want in our politics. Civility. Nishinde kwa sababu sera zako ni mzuri kunishinda, lakini usinishinde kwa sababu uko na vijana wamebeba masheti na marungu. And again, keep off this by election if you are not a voter in those particular areas. Enda nyumbani, monitor the results. Let the people decide. Mbeere wa decide, Kasipul wa decide, Malava huko kwa kina Daripuzo, or let them also decide who they want to vote for. So please, I emphasize that we stop the violence in this election. Now, if Gachagua wins in Mbeere, he becomes emboldened, and the opposition becomes emboldened moving forward in 2027 general election. So this Mbeere race is not just a constituency race; it is a referendum on UDA's old in Mount Kenya. It is like a referendum. Hii ni kukufa na kupona for William Ruto, and there is a lot of money that has been poured in this election. So let us wait and see who will emerge the winner in Mbeere. Now we also have Kilifi, and before I go to Kilifi, there's been a lot of violence, guys. Thank you those who are watching. Leo Nyabaya, asante sana. Walter, karibu sana. Walter Kama, thank you for watching. Those who love the show, asante sana for the love, and make sure that you give me more love by subscribing to Africa 24. This is your number one analysis YouTube channel. Hapa we are not biased. We look at things the way they are. Vile vitu ziko ndio tutakwambia, and I predict most of this election correct. In 2022 I predicted correct, Ruto was going to win. In 2027 I will give you the analysis once the oppositions get their acts together. I will tell you frankly that enyewe things are not very good. And one generation that I'm also very very keen, and you guys should be also very very keen to watch what they're going to do in this by-election. This is the Gen Zs. After storming parliament, how is vijana walienda wapi? What happened to them? We want to see them participating in this election. If they don't participate, then they are insignificant. They have to tilt the scale. The young generations in the Wednesday by elections, you have to tilt the scale. If you tilt the scale, then you will be sending a very very powerful message going to 2027. So the young people, come out, vote, and whoever you are going to vote for, whether you are voting on the side of UDA or you find the side of the opposition, we want to see you tilting the scales because you are the majority and you matter. All right, you are the majority and you matter, and nobody should take you for granted. The way Nanaambiwa bana, these young people are not actually voting. Now, let us look at. I mean, I really hate playing these kind of clips here because this is just violent. Some of the scenes, watu wanapigana juu ya siasa. I mean, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Wacha tusikie.
Kweze bantu be-DAP sekunende candidate tele kabuta itawe mukabone kwandisi waswa akakubalozi lakini kende bayobeleka ediki Precha Moses wake kitale na ediki ino ende timu ya DAP babogongwa tena waafukiri tena chekura cho sijafani sikurapire nanu na barreo no mnatembea kalumire ta eso kavyanga
telling the truth.
Dono bantu bepo nyonya mwanya umudumura na kweni yeyo ko mwire shida jepwe Babantu bantu bakambotingi ano ngo lebane wetanga blog za manyire tawe sai kino na kugengi le
you've seen the kind of violence bwana jamaa. Former askari bwana anapigwa kama nyoka hapo bwana. I've sent you guys the link on Africa YouTube page. Make sure that you subscribe to Africa YouTube page. Hapo unaweza weka usubscribe Africa YouTube page bwana. Umeona nani natembea. I was addressing people then kidogo tear gas, but I saw Faruk Kibet saying that Natembeya alijipiga tear gas. Imagine you're just addressing the crowd, unapiga tu siasa yako, then kidogo some crazy goon, police goon. I don't know who those people are. They just lobby tear gas. I mean, please, why can't we be mature? Hii kitu kama unashinda, wacha ushinde, wacha kuogopa. Unapiga watu tear gas, unapiga watu tear gas ya nini? If you know you have the numbers, stop intimidating the politicians, your opponents. Don't intimidate them. If you have the state machinery, use them to protect wananchi instead of causing mayhem in this by-election. I mean, if it is the government doing, then that was pathetic, primitive, and should be condemned. Kabisa. That is pathetic. I've not spoken about Magarini. Magarini on the coast. Oh, we have our ODM candidate called Harrison Kombe. He battles against Stanley Kenga. The Supreme Court nullified the 2022 results, which had favored this Harrison Kombe guy. He had won the election, but the Supreme Court wakaona hiyo uchaguzi kufanyika vizuri, so you guys have to go back. ODM leaders have vowed to defend Raila's legacy here, but the opposition leaders like Kalonzo, Wamalo, Gachagua have already stormed the coastal region, and they are dominating in the politics hapo Kilifi. Allegations that IBC is biased have further complicated the contest. Uh, Now, a win keeps ODM's coastal anchor intact. Yani, hiyo win, if they win in Magarini, it means that ODM bado wako pamoja despite the absence of the enigma. Hiyo inamaanisha they are still strong. A loss uh, signals vulnerability in that region, meaning Raila Odinga and his troop ODM are losing grips in the coastal region. This is a region that ODM commanded a lot when Baba was still alive. So this is a testimony. This will be a referendum again on the ODM party in the coastal region, whether they are still strong or they depended on the Mzee to get the votes in the coastal area. Now Malava, hapo ndio umeona watu wamepigwa tear gas. That hiyo race, that race is seriously tight. It is between the UDA candidate David Ndakwa and the DAP Seth Panyako. Seth Panyako is known, is very popular. I think it's been in the union circles for a very long time. The UDA candidate is also making some strides in this particular race. But several people, the political class, uh, including Boni Aluale, who is now in the opposition side, are supporting Seth Panyako. So this election is very tricky. The government is behind David Ndakwa, and there is a lot of resources. So financially, hapa tukiangalia mambo ya kifedha, because election pia ni pesa. So kuangalia kama ni pesa itatumika, then David Ndakwa is going to carry the day. If his campaign is going to be oiled enough, hizi siku tatu wakifanya chini ya maji kidogo, I mean, they still bribe voters in this Republic of Kenya. Watu bado wanapewa maongo, wanapewa sukari, wanapewa nyanya. Niliona huko Mbeere mpaka Itumbi anapeana kitunguu. Ai boss, mumefika hapo, mumefika. Ni siasa sasa, ni kupeana kitunguu na nyanya na pilipili. Mnaturudisha nyuma bana, that is not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. So we wait to see what will happen in that particular area. I am also joined by a renowned journalist and a political commentator, Bwana Leo Nyabaya. Alipigia simu lakini naona alikuwa amekaa kwa traffic kwa muda mrefu, sasa ameshajiandaa. Wacha nimkaribishe Leo in the studio so that we can continue with this analysis. Leo, welcome to Africa 24. This is 60 minutes. Karibu sana, Leo. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. I can hear you, but I don't know. You are somehow breaking. So could it be from my side, or are you able to hear me well?
I can hear you, sir. You can hear you loud and clear. Uko poa kabisa. Mm.
That's good. So how are you today?
No, I am doing great. Long time. I haven't seen you for a minute. I can see you are looking very sharp. Are you going to some kind of celebration or some oath taking? Or you are going to visit Opoda Farm. I think there are still people trooping Pale to give the last respect to the late Raila Odinga. So, how you been, sir?
I've been good. I think all is well. I'm not
Hmm.
going to to have some kind of celebration, but I do agree with you that people are still visiting to give Raila Odinga the last respect. Like tomorrow, 27th and 28th, we are going to have the Kenyans in diaspora. They are going to pay their last respect there at Opoda. And those Kenyans who are in the diaspora, including you, who would wish to join that, are welcome. They can either, those ones who are there physically can attend it physically, and those ones who are not there physically can support. Those people will be going. They'll be going to Opoda. That is 27th and 28th. They'll be having a night vigil at Opoda Farm and also the visit the burial site of Raila Amolo Odinga. I don't know when these events are going to end because it seems uh, there are large crowds that are visiting the place. But to me, I think this one is also giving us an opportunity to call upon those people who are going to vote the by-election. Remember, we're having a by-election, and these by-elections, they are normally independent when they are done in the like independently if you're having specific by-elections done at specific time, but these ones, all of the by-elections that have been pending are going to be done at the same time. So it is really significant. It is like what we've been having called the political litmus test. Initially we've been having the referendums. You can remember in 205
Yes.
after in 205 we had such a thing which led to the birth of ODM, and they used that by election to weigh their strength, and that one convinced them that they can be able to challenge Kibaki government in 2007. Again, we also saw another referendum in 2010, and from these referendums, people normally align themselves and they use it to prepare for the upcoming general elections and also to know how they can assemble their teams. So this one, there was one that was almost being tried with the BBI, and I think the results that I got in 2022, somehow people got shocked because we did not get a midterm elections so that we can be able to weigh and gauge how powerful leaders aligned themselves. Had we had the BBI, I guess maybe the Ruto side would have won, and we who are on the Baba and Uhuru side would have had to get back to the drawing board, but it didn't happen. So for this, I think this by-election is also going to serve a similar purpose. It might not have a greater impact, because if I look at the by-elections that we're going to have in the said constituencies and the wards, the voter register has not been changed. So I earlier heard you talking about the Gen Z or such kind of things. I just want to make it clear that the same voters who voted in 2022 are the ones who are going to participate in this kind of vote. So there is not going to be much change as people might view. This Gen Z effect will only be realized when we are having a new voter register And this one means that maybe there are new voters who've not been voting who are going to be included in the register, and they're going to come with a different perspective. So before I lose what I was saying about this diaspora visit, I think we urge those people from Kasipul, the ones in Ugunja, the ones in Magarini, to give Baba a gift by voting anything ODM that they'll find on those ballot papers, so that at least as those Kenyans from diaspora are going to visit the grave, they'll have something, because the visit will be in the evening after the elections, and tell Baba that, look, you are not there, but your party is still visible. So it's a good chance for those people vying on ODM, as we are urging Kenyans who are going to get the ODM candidates on their ballot papers just for the sake of Baba. And we are only having 1 year. So vote these people. I'm sure if they're not to be able to do something tangible, then you'll have the shortest time, that is less than 2 years, to correct it, if it will be a mess.
Thank you for that, and thank you for reminding our viewers that there are people who are visiting from the diaspora. I think I was one of those guys who was supposed to send their contribution to that particular forum, and I will do so when we are done with this particular show. Thank you also for reminding me. Now, Leo, let us see what is happening in Kasipul. There are two candidates who are very, very strong. One is ODM candidate Boyd Were, and the other one is this guy called Philip Aroko. These candidates have all been in ODM. The one who lost the election, the nominations to Boyd, they have joined hands and they are now backing Philip Aroko. We have also seen the UDA team from Nyanza supporting Philip Aroko other than the ODM candidate. What does this tell you about the broad-based coalition? I thought that maybe UDA, I've seen some good number also, some MPs from UDA camping in Kasipul to support Boyd Were, but the ODM officials in the Nyanza regions are not supporting the ODM candidate. What do you make of this?
I think just to be specific of the Kasipol constituency by-elections, I know you come from the same county, if not in the same constituency, and you might also be having some interest and also your view. I just want us to say that if I look at the candidate that is there, we've been singing of these young leaders, we've been singing of having our own, we've been singing of having retiring the old guards. So the candidate himself, I recently talked of something called the power of choice. You know, the power of choice are human beings. There are things that are always beyond our control, like choosing where one is to be born, choosing your parents, or choosing the community or the region where you are supposed to be born. These are things that are always beyond our control. And as a young man or as a young lady out there, you have got no control over what your parents do. So if I look at that by election, the people who are campaigning against the ODM candidate, they has got nothing against that young man, that youthful man who is not even married. The only thing they have against him is the act of his father. So the only sins that they are trying to crucify him with are the sins that were committed by his father. So one thing that they are forgetting is that this little boy or this young man did not have control over what his father did. And I give an example of somebody called Gideon Moy. Gideon Moy is one of the coolest guys, and you will agree with me, and one of the peaceful men that we have in this country, despite the history and the legacy of his father, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. So there's a proof that as humans, we are only responsible for what we do individually. So if people will be able to remove Were from Boyd, then you'll come to realize that all the youth and all the voters has got nothing that they can be able to maybe crucify Boyd with. So let them look at Boyd as Boyd himself and judge him with his own acts and his own character, rather than trying to bring all the evil things that his father did,
Oh,
and they want
mhm.
now to put that baggage behind him. So look at the
Uh,
candidates who are contesting against Boyd. If you want to compare Boyd Were and Aroko, if you come from Homa Bay, you know very well who Aroko is. These are the, I don't want to use some words because I don't have a lawyer who is going to represent me. But in real sense, these are people who've been causing chaos in Kasipul, not today. They didn't start today. They are people who chaotically campaigned during the times of Ongondo and the rest. The deputy governor of Homa Bay also comes from the same constituency. And the politics of Kasipul has always been characterized by machetes, people being cut, and people being threatened, and lives being lost. It is not the first time. I think this is the time that they needed to choose somebody who've not been part of those kind of campaigns. And in the ballot, the only person who've not been part of those kind of campaigns is Boyd Were. Rocco has been part of that. I did it when Were Ongondo was still alive and they were campaigning. So we don't want that bad blood that has been
I
tainting negatively the
uh,
politics in Kasipul.
Okay, okay, Leo. I mean, those are your sentiments, and I think they are not part of what Africa believes in. One thing I know is that you have zero evidence of Aroko participating in any kind of violence in Kasipul. Yet we have seen a lot of evidence that the former MP was indeed engaged in a lot of violence and bloodshed in that particular area. We have also had a situation where there is a girl who is missing, and it has been narrated many times. And when he was asked about it, a lot has happened. So anyway, let us just forget about Ongondowere for a minute and get to Kasipul and what this by-election means. Now, Kasipul is ODM's first test in Luo Nyanza without Baba. Do you see this race as a referendum on the survival of ODM, or it is just a constituency level kind of test? Yeah. Leo,
Did
did
I
you?
really get you well? Okay.
Now, what
Can you
I'm
just
asking,
maybe come up again?
let me rephrase it. Now, do you think these elections in Kasipul, uh, this election in Kasipul, is this a test on ODM without Baba? Yeah. And if ODM were to lose Kasipul by elections, would it send a message that ODM cannot survive without Raila Odinga in Nyanza?
I think I get you well. These are the first by-elections that we are going to do in the absence of Raila Odinga. And the success of these elections actually is going to be the success of ODM as a party. So if these by-elections are going to be successful, then this one is going to give some hope to ODM party that they can be able to survive beyond Raila Odinga. I know there are many people who believe that the death and maybe the determent of Raila Odinga is going to be equated to the death of ODM party. We've had several people say that. If you recently listen to the former uh, Migori governor Kotobado saying that ODM was Raila and Raila was ODM, and now that Raila had gone, nobody should think that that party is still there. Not once, not twice. We've had people who've been saying people are in ODM because of Raila. So, as the members of ODM party, this is the time that they have to give people hope beyond Raila, that they can continue the Raila legacy and the ODM will have a life beyond Raila Moladinga. I remember when Jaramogi died, and that is what led to the death of the Ford Kenya, and the shell that we currently have being held by Wetangula as just the remnants. They did not have an opportunity to get some political tests like what we are having right now. But having maybe some few experience on how people vote, I think and I believe that ODM is going to win
Now,
all the parliamentary.
Leo,
Yes.
you've mentioned the late Jaramogi. When Jaramogi died, Ford died. When Moi died, Kanu died. When Kibaki died, BP died. Uh, I mean, this has been what has been happening in our politics. These political parties are made in quicksand. Can they survive without their owners? Because many times, even you here on this particular platform, you kept on singing that ODM is Raila and Raila is ODM. I don't know what has changed in that. Yeah, that is what you used to say. I don't know what ODM is Raila and Raila is ODM. Without Raila, there's no ODM. That is exactly what you used to say. So now that Baba is not there, do you think that the ODM party will survive, especially when they lose
And let
this?
me just respond to that. Let me
Yeah.
just respond to that. I also believe that ODM was Raila and Raila was ODM. And I want to draw some differences between Raila as death and the state that he left the party and the Jaramogi's. You know, Jaramogi just died, even though their deaths are similar. That they had no prayer warning that they were going to leave us. But Jaramogi died and left Fort Kenya for grab, and everybody just had to grab a piece that he could. But I think Raila was wise enough that even in his death, he ensured that the party was put somewhere safe. You can remember at some point when he was going to AU, he had to leave people like Anyang' Nyong'o to take care. Severally will remind us of the people like Oparanya and Joho and such kind of things to take care of this party. And he ensured that he left this party in government. Even though he himself, he did manage to take us to Canaan or to form the government of his own. But by the time that he was leaving, he did not leave his political party in opposition. He left them in government. Though next time we are going to see how ODM can still survive without having to join UD or such kind of things. So what is going to happen right now? We believe that ODM is a party that is having structures. So now the structures of ODM are going to be put into test in this by-election. We've seen the campaigns taking place, and I like the way they've coordinated the campaigns right from Nairobi to Turkana to Nyanza and to Western. So it is now upon the people who the party was left in their hands to prove that they have the knowledge and they have all it takes to unite and put this party together and run it as a structure, a party that is having structures, and prove to the people that despite the fact that people love Raila and they joined the ODM, Raila managed to build a machine that will run without his presence. And as I always tell people that, Raila Odinga's legacy cannot just be wiped by him being buried. This is a man who will be, even in his death, he will be consulted. People will be going to his grave to consult on what next or what needs to be done. So as we were saying before, these by-elections are going to be a litmus test. And as my prediction is that in Kasipul, you know very well, despite the hype that you're seeing in Facebook and the online everything, we know very well, Kasipul is now even beyond ODM and beyond Raila. And this Governor Gladys Wanga has to do all it takes to ensure that he stamps authority, because a win in Kasipul will give her hope of serving a second term. Remember, this one is going to happen in the absence of Raila. And a win in Kasipul will mean that those people like Kidero, who've been crying foul that Raila has been denying them and imposing people to them, will have got nothing to tell people in 2027. And if Wanga loses in Kasipul, it means in 2027 the Kideros will come and see, you see, we people have been winning, and it is Raila who have been denying us, and without Raila, now we're going to win. So Gladys Wanga has to prove to those people that even without Raila, ODM is going to win that seat. And those people who think that are going to use Raila's absence for their advantage to say how now Raila is not there and such kind of stories are not there. You've seen people like Odoyo Widi. These are people who've always been using Raila to defend their failure. Their failure to appease and please people to vote for them, they've always been putting it on Raila's head. And now Raila is not there. So it's really an interesting moment. And for Ugonja, I won't talk for Ugonja because that is obvious. that gentleman Moses is going to have a landslide win. The same is going to happen in Kasipul. Magarini ODM is going to win, though it is going to be highly contested. That's what I can tell you. And the only seat that is going to be challenging is the one in Mbeere. And that is where the DCP imposter, Gachagua, is also going to try to prove his kingship and all those kind of political lunacy, lunatics that he's trying to portray.
You did you call Gachagua a DCP imposter? What do you mean by that? Can you please give
You
it
know,
more
you know, you know,
clarity?
Gachagua, you know, Mzalendo, we are living in a very interesting country whereby this is an impeached deputy president, and you know the laws. He've not exhausted them, and he've not been reinstated, or the decision that was made by the National Assembly, the Senate, and the county assemblies have not been reversed. So he still stands to be impeached. So you know the repercussions that happens when you are impeached. So once you are impeached, you cannot impose yourself to be a party leader. So he's an imposter. So you know, Kenya is funny. Kenya is funny is whereby that is why I don't know how to describe it. So people who still believe and you call Gachagua a party leader, you know very well the legal impediment that is behind him. He is an imposter.
No,
That is the best term
no,
we
no,
can
no.
use.
You mean Gachagua cannot be a party leader after being impeached? What are you talking about?
Once you are impeached, you need to get some lawyer to come and explain it. What happens once you're impeached? And impeachment
You
is the
can't
costly
buy.
thing. And the next, and like if you can reach Yugi Magwanga,
Uh,
tell him he's really going through that way. He should learn from Sonko and Gachagua, because once you get impeached, is the most expensive thing. Once you get impeached, you cannot ascend to any elective position in this country. It
So
destroys you totally.
let me ask you, why? Okay, before I ask you why you want to impeach the DG, the Deputy Governor for Homa Bay, let me welcome Benson. Karibu sana,
Asante sana Mzalendo, unanisikiza?
nakusikiza vizuri sana kaka.
Asante. Salimia ndugu yangu hapo.
Leo amesalimika.
Mi kuna mahali sikubaliana na leo, kwa sababu najua kama we ni mtu ambaye anaangazia siasa, lazima uangalia vitu vingi, na pia saa zingine pia unakuwa na heshima kwa wale ambao unawazungumzia kidogo, kwa sababu kuna jambo ambalo amezungumza hapo. Kwa kweli makamu wa rais, aliyekuwa makamu wa rais Rigathi Gachagua aling'atuliwa mamlakani, lakini kitu ambacho tunajua kwa saizi ni kwamba kuna ile kesi bado iko kotini. Inamaanisha until he exhausts all the avenues, akiendesha hizi kesi zake mahakamani mpaka mahakama itakuja kuamua, kwa sababu utapata kwamba akienda High Court atarudi aende Court of Appeal na itaenda ifike mpaka Supreme Court. Hapo ndio sasa ikaamuliwa, wakasema kwamba alitendewa haki, basi hapo hatakuwa na uwezo. Lakini hiyo kusema hivyo, mimi naona kwamba kama mtu ambaye anajadili siasa, inakaa ni kutokuwa na heshima na yeye kwake, kwa sababu unajua ni siasa za hisia. Kitu ambacho mimi nakubaliana na yeye ni kwamba alikuwa ameng'atuliwa mamlakani, lakini bado kuna kesi alipeleka kotini. Ni kwamba alikuwa anasema kwamba haki yake hakupatiwa haki, ndio pingamizi iko kotini mpaka wa leo. So hapo sikubaliani na ndugu yangu hata kidogo.
Yeah, kesi bado haijafikishwa mpaka pale Supreme Court.
Ningependa nimkosoe ndugu Ben. Ingawaje nakubaliana na wewe, I agree with your point of argument, but there's one thing that you need to understand. He've not exhausted all the avenues. And in the process of exhausting the avenues, the initial ruling, which I think Senate in that case was acting as a court, or it was a jury on its own. So the initial judgment or the initial decision has not been reversed. So the fact that the assemblies impeached him has not been reversed. So he still stands impeached until the day these avenues will prove otherwise. So as we stand today, he has to convince these courts to nullify the initial decision that was made. That is when we will say that he is no longer impeached. Just like the court has found you guilty and you've gone to the court of appeal, does not make you innocent until that court of appeal nullifies your guilt that was maybe approved by these junior courts. So we have to agree that Kenya is having very many species who are not going to question that. So as it stands today, however long that court process is going to take, the deputy president was impeached, and that is why we are having a deputy president in office. And imposting to be a party leader and even telling people that he is going to vie, those are just wishful thoughts, because we're in a country whereby religion is legalized and people are allowed to sell hope and wish for anything. And though this thing was not about Rigathi Gachagua, let us just keep him out of this. I was trying to
No.
say that it is only in Mbeere that we're going to
Okay.
have a hotly contested by-elections.
Mzalendo.
And yes, anyway,
Let,
all
let's
your
let's let me just give me a time. Let me just put the facts right. I agree with Leo, and remember the way you also have to know that there are quite so many things that were challenged. Even today, the empowerment of the bench, it was questioned, and the Supreme Court judge, that is CJ, had to appoint the same judges, which means as it stands today, all the process that they went through in the courts has to be done newly,
fresh.
because but the empowerment of the bench was nullified, because it was said that the deputy CJ cannot do that, which means it was done against the law. Then after that, the CJ came again and empaneled the bench, the same people. So which means even those conservatory orders are still standing, you know. So look at the ruling that was done.
Anyway, you are right, brother Ben, and Leo is also partially right, according to uh, what the Constitution says in Chapter 6 of the Constitution. According to the laws of Kenya, once you are removed in a public office or impeached, you cannot run. Article 73. Under Chapter 6 of the Constitution is often cited uh, as if you are removed with the gross misconduct or integrity violation, then it disqualifies you from running for office. However, what Brother Ben is saying is what Gachagua is also saying. Until he exhausts his all legal avenues, he is citing even Uhuru and Ruto ran uh, for in office while they were still facing the ICC cases. So there is nothing blocking Rigathi Gachagua
Yes.
from running until the court pronounces that, hey, boss, you can't contest.
Mzalendo, I've listened to you, and we are having a problem in Kenya. We cannot compare Gachagua's case with Ruto's case. Ruto ran when he was under trial. He was a suspect. The
So,
ICC had not confirmed any charges against him. For Gachagua, we are talking of somebody whose charges have been confirmed, and it is in record. A precedence is there that he been impeached. So now Gachagua should tell you it is him to exhaust all the avenues, so that the avenues that he's exhausting to drop the charges. So he will not run until these courts drop the charges. So that is what I call illusion. That is what I call being lunatic. He knows very well that he has to convince the higher courts to drop the charges to set him free. So with him, he is not a free man. For Ruto and
Anyway,
Uhuru's case,
anyway,
there was three men. They were not yet convicted.
anyway, what I want to ask you, Bonalio, is Gachagua running for the presidency?
Gachagua knows very well he's not running for the presidency. He's
No,
just
is he running? I'm asking you a question.
we
Is
are
he
not
running?
having presidential elections currently, so we cannot talk of running. There is no vacancy. So when that time reaches, is when we'll be
Is
talking about
Kalonzo
presidential.
running for presidency?
Nobody is running for the presidency right now. We don't have a vacancy. So people will be running for presidency when IBC will
Is
officially declare.
Matiangi eyeing for the presidency?
They are hoping to run. None of them is running. We're only having one person who is sure that he's going to defend his presidency.
We know that Ruto is the current president, but we have the
Actually, and he's going
opposition
to defend his
is
presidency. So
going to
with him, we
defend
are
it.
sure.
Yeah. Did you say, what did you say? That is
I'm
going to
saying
win?
we know Ruto is the current president, and
Yes,
he is
and is
going to
going to run
defend his
against an
presidency,
opposition candidate. Yeah, is going to run
which is
against many
which
other candidates who have declared their interest in running for office.
he's going
Why?
to defend. He's not going. Ruto is not going to run. Ruto is going to defend his presidency
Yes,
against the people who are going to
their
run. Those
candidates,
other guys are going to run. For him, he's going to defend. So there's defending and
listen, there are
running.
candidates who have decided that they are going to run for the presidential elections. All right.
And Ruto is
Yeah.
defending. Yeah, actually.
Yes, that is the right statement. The candidates are Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiangi, Maraga. Those people have decided that they want to go for the top seat. There is nothing
And the
buying them.
Sama Tandi of Alago is also going to run.
Samatandi is running for governor.
Presidency. No. He is going to run for the presidency. He said so. So there are so many people, jokers, who are going to run against the president.
Now, anyway, I think that is on
Mzalendo,
a light note. People like,
Mzalendo.
yes.
You know, to me, this is what I feel. You cannot say that somebody who is going to run for presidency is a joker, because somebody is he has a reason for running. And Leo is too economical with his views, because when you look at President Ruto, whether he will be defending or running, both of them, both the statements are right. Because remember, even if he's going to defend his seat, he will have to still present his papers to the IEBC to declare him, to give him that go ahead to run. That is how it works, and you will see it. What
No,
usually happens in our
just
constitution is
just a point of correction, Benson.
Mhm.
Just a point of correction as you proceed. I just want to make it simpler, even for those who have not maybe read the Constitution. I want to put it in a simple term. I know you people, whether you are self-employed at some point, you've always been employed. If you worked for an organization, you're having a running contract, and they are recruiting, what they do for you is called appraisal. And in appraisal, I don't send my papers back. They appraise me based on the work that I've been doing. So what is IBC going to be vetting in Ruto? Ruto is not going to be vetted afresh because he already met those thresholds, and that is why he became the president. The people who've not presented their credentials are the ones who are going to be applying and get vetted and such kind of thing. And that is the only thing that people did not know when people were making an argument of you must have a degree, Raila is going to be bad. Do you know, even those people in IBC, they were like, this is somebody who ran for 4 times or something like that, and all these times the same IBC have been approving him. Why would we take him to some another approval or such kind of things? So what is going to happen? Ruto is going to defend against the people. Like right now, you've said we don't need to call them jokers. They need to tell us, why are we going to run against Ruto? But Ruto is going to defend. I promised this and I've done that. So
Why
most
do you,
of them
hey,
who have
Leo,
just a
hey,
minute, I'm
hey,
finishing. Just 1 minute,
why?
1 minute, please. 1 minute. These
Okay,
people who
okay.
have threatened to run against Ruto, they are not telling us why they want to run against Ruto. They are telling us just one term. That is the only agenda that they're having. But Ruto is telling us, I promised you affordable housing. Makongeni is now down. We are going to uplift the face. I promised you this, I've done that. But those people want to run against Ruto. They're only telling us we are running against Ruto because one term is inevitable. We are only running against Ruto because Gachagua was impeached. We are running against Ruto because Uhuru did not tell us. You see, those kind of things cannot make you run against Ruto. That is why Natembeya realized it is hard to run against Ruto, and he decided to drop.
Leo,
Okay.
Leo, I think
Leo,
you're very economical with
Mzalendo,
your thoughts, and
Mzale,
I think
Mzalendo.
yes.
That's why I was telling you that Leo is very economical with this thought. He also only think one way.
He's
Remember,
thinking you are like a kiwi bird flying in the one direction.
remember, it's not only your academic credentials that are being looked into when you're running for an office. They are also looking at corruption cases. And let's say, for example, they will have to do, even though he maybe in his term, during the time that he's the president, he has not committed any crime. Yeah, but there are agencies that has to clear him for corruption. So it's only that in our country we don't follow the due diligence. But what usually happens is that when you are running, your credential, especially when it comes to your academic credential, might be the same. You've not um, gone to any, or you've not advanced in any of career, maybe going to school to get another degree. By the way, if you go during his time, if he goes to school, he will also have to present that certificate, just to add. So what usually happens for him to run, the IBC will have to give him a nod to run. Yeah, whether you will be doing appraisal or doing what, but he has to be given that nod, that clearance. That is something that you have to know. It is there. You can check.
All right, Brother Ben. I think Leo asked a very fundamental question that the opposition, they don't know why they are running for the presidency, and it's to him the housing projects that Ruto is doing a very good job. But Leo, let me just tell you that the opposition have accused Ruto for corruption. The opposition have accused Ruto for killings. They have cited so many the controversial uh, acquisition of the airports and the parastatals in Kenya. They have also accused him of the tax burden to Kenyans. So I don't know what you are talking about. And they have also the public debt is rising each and every day. Kenya is borrowing 10 times more than any other time. So those are some of the things that the oppositions are citing. So until you live in
And no,
another
no,
world. Hmm?
Mzalendo, I like the fact that you've been very candid and said that the opposition have accused Ruto. And, once you use the word accuse, you can always accuse somebody of anything. And now the burden lies on proving it. The same opposition knows that we're in a country with some legal framework, and they know very well that we have things like the anti-corruption and such kind of bodies. So without getting to that, when it comes to politics, the Kenyan politics is always full of accusation. And what matters is how you are able to convince the majority, because we are in a democracy, and the measure of democracy is numbers. Democracy is not measured on morality or intelligence or how truthful you are, but democracy is measured in numbers. How many people are you able to convince to buy your idea? And that is why we even had people like Charles Taylor getting those highest percentage in their elections. So that is I don't know if it is the negative part or, but it is the fact about democracy. It's a game of numbers. And anybody who thinks, I know most of the time in the previous elections, sometimes we've been traveling on different paths with you, because I can say at that moment you'd already learned that democracy is about numbers. So however much we were stuck with Raila and staying on the hopes that he was going to be president, you people had already seen that the numbers maybe weren't going to work for us, and you supported otherwise. So the problem that I do have with this, that whenever we people also woken up and realize the truth that you realized before, you now try to say that you now try to belittle us and think that we made the right decision. This decision that we are making right now to support President Ruto, after investigating and realizing that he has got the numbers and all that it takes to defend his seat, is a decision that you people made in 2021 and decided with Ruto because you could see, based on the evidence that was there, that he was going to win. So the problem is, sisi pia tukiwa werevu kama nyinyi, sasa you start dismissing us. You people are people who need to be punished in the society because you don't want good for us. Now, because we now know the truth, you don't want to be on the truthful side. That is the problem that I have with you people. But
Anyway, Martin Luther King said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Yeah,
Mzalendo.
if you the true measure of democracy by justice and equality. So you cannot say these things that you are saying, that I don't know that you people are now, on this other side. Yes, we can
Mzalendo.
ignore the justice will, because William Ruto is in power. It doesn't work like that. Yes, yes, brother Ben.
You know, um, to me, uh, uh, I would look at it this way. I would say my brother has all the rights, especially to support the President William Ruto or to support anybody, depending on what he has seen that are working for the country based on his argument, which is okay. But remember, when we are talking about opposition, we are not only talking about the leaders, we are also talking about Kenyans who have felt that they don't buy into the presidency or the administration of the President William Ruto. Those are also the oppositions. So and they will be also them also they will be voting for any presidential candidate that they feel is right for the country. So, and that's why when you look at our constitution has allowed the association, the freedom of association and associating with anybody that you want, you know. If you feel, for example, that President William Ruto is doing a good job, like my brother now is saying, that is his freedom of association. There are quite a number of good population that do not feel that president is not doing a good job. They also have that freedom of voting whoever they want. But to me, I want to come from a point of um, advocating for the people of Kenya, because there are so many things that I feel, despite the fact that even the housing that my friend is talking about, there are a few things that I feel like should be put in place, especially to make Kenya be a better country, especially when it comes to leadership and governance. There are so many things that I still question, things to do with the corruption. And the corruption, I'm not saying about the president is corrupt, I mean, but I'm talking about the rampant corruption that we see in the administration. That is one. We are talking about empowerment, where large sums of money is being distributed in the form of empowerment, which to me, it doesn't really bring any benefit to the people that have been given that money. You know, the other time there was a tuk-tuk that was group of men that were given this money. They end up even fighting over this money when they're given this money, you know. So that is one. Again, talking about the taxes, you know, you can do the empowerment, yet the taxes are quite much high, you know. So it doesn't, if the taxes are high, it means the cost of living too is going to be high because like the people cannot afford that. So it's not about who becomes the president, but it's about somebody who comes up with policies
All
that
right.
um,
Mm-hmm.
that works for the country.
All right, Ben. Ben, I hear you. Guys, we have talked about William Ruto, his policy, and all that. We are veering off from the topic of the day, and the topic of the day was this by-elections that are coming in the next 3 days on 27th. Now, I'm in Western Kenya. In Western Kenya, we have UDA's candidate David Ndakwa, who is facing off with Seth Panyako. Several rivals dropped out to back Ndakwa, giving UDA momentum in this race in Malava. You remember, Malava is a kind of a swing seat, and the government has invested heavily on this particular election. A UDA win in Western strengthens Ruto's hold in the region. A loss would remind the opposition that Western is remains a territory that is open for contest. Do you think that William Ruto's UDA is going to prevail against uh, the united opposition in Western Kenya? And what does it mean if he loses Western Kenya?
Should I go first or Leo?
Yeah, you can go first, Brother Ben.
Okay. What you know, Western Kenya, and this one I would also give even to Mbeere. You know what is going to happen here? I will look at the percentage.
Hmm.
You know, I'm going to look at the voter turnout and the percentage that both the UDA and the United Opposition is going to get. If by any chance that the United Opposition wins by something like around 52% to 48%
Hmm.
against President William Ruto, then I think that that means that President William Ruto has lost that constituency, but with a good percentage, which should worry the United Opposition. So we will look at the voter turnout and we look at the percentage. But if by any chance the United Opposition wins it in a landslide,
Hmm.
then that one could worry President William Ruto. And the same will be in Mbeere too. If by any chance the UDA candidate in Mbeere lose that election with 35%, then that one should worry the united opposition because that one will tell you President William Ruto still command a chunk of votes in that area or in Western and Central Kenya.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right and spot on in that analysis. So what so what do these outcomes in this by-election mean for 2027? I want us to break it down what it really means in 2027, the outcome of this by-election, what it means for I think Leo, we have lost Leo, or oh, Leo is here. Leo, are you in the studio, or
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, but I think your network is not kind of
All
sharp.
right.
But anyway, um,
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you. Do you
All
want to
right.
say something?
I want to agree with Brother Ben. When you look at
Yeah.
Malava, even when Raila was there, ODM candidate could not win. Actually, those are rare people from Western. We know in Western, we know those constituencies and the areas that have always not worked together with their ODM counterparts. And that is why my own Secretary General Sifuna have not even field candidate in his Kingsmen in Malava. So it's going to be hotly contested.
No,
And
they had a candidate, but the candidate returned the certificate.
so
You
that's
don't
what I'm
remember?
telling you. Sifuna should also show seriousness, that he is so serious. I'll not talk of that because I know I don't want to be seen to be attacking Sifuna. He was not part of this. I know UD is going to win, but it is going to be hotly contested, not as the way ODM is going to win Ugunja and Kasipul and the Magarini. So they are going to win. If you look at the voter turnout and how the ground is, they are going to win. And the win for UDA actually is going to send the so-called united opposition into the drawing board. And this one is happening at a point whereby you see Eugene is not even having a party. You've been declared the partyless, and Natembea, who was supposed to run for presidency, have also said that he's now going to contest his gubernatorial to defend his gubernatorial seat. And this one also make people starting to doubt if the Tawi movement is working for President Ruto or it is an independent. Though with the time, we are going to tell them some of the things that they don't know. When it comes to Mbeere, I can say Mbeere is 50-50. The people of Central never fail. They're people who are always unpredictable. They're people who normally don't follow some logics when it comes to elections. There are people who I don't fear saying are normally driven by emotions. There are people who will vote me against everybody as long as I have something that is going to emotionally attach them to me. There are people who don't care of whether they are going to lose or gain. That is why if you look at most legislators that we have from the central, I have no shame in saying that they are the ones who are the most clueless in the National Assembly, and they contribute to nothing as far as legislation is concerned. They will elect anything electable as long as they have emotions attached to it. So
You gotta be fair to people from
whoever will be emotionally attached will carry the day. In Beira, don't be surprised. Whoever will attach the emotions to the people will carry the day. And
Okay.
that one is also going to be used as a litmus paper, whether UDA is still strong in Central or not. I can tell you this, that one is neither here nor there. It is only in Central whereby we've been having, they don't stick to political parties. And each and every election, from the ones I've observed from 2007, you'll find that they've been shifting parties. This is the only place that new parties normally shine. Unlike the regions where we come from, we've been sticking to ODM, BY Ford, and such kind of things. So in 2027 elections, even William Ruto, if he wants to win the central, he needs to abandon that UDA and use another vehicle. It will be hard to sell UDA. So in Western, in Central, they don't stick to parties. So the strength of UDA cannot be measured in that. And anybody who is wise will know that in 2027, if you want to run in Central, you don't need UDA. You need a different. They like new clothes. They don't maintain the clothes that they already have. So in Mbeere, it's going to be tricky. I don't know who is attaching people emotionally there, because with them, they don't just vote. They just vote for, as long as you can tell them something that is going to emotionally attack them. But for the first time, they're going to have an election without Raila. So nobody is going to sell Raila phobia. And that one is enough to tell you that don't be surprised in 2027 if Central still votes for Ruto, because Raila will not be there. So at least for the first time, they're going to vote without Raila in their mind.
Now, there is a scenario that maybe you guys have not looked at. A win in ODM, if ODM wins in Kasipul and Kilifi, and UDA wins in Mbeere and Malava, I think that almost certainly guarantees Ruto a win in 2027, and then a strategical change in the opposition and their tactics. If they manage to pull off Mbeere, and they pull off Malava and Kilifi, then Ruto has to strategically think whether this broad-based is adding value to his in his camp. I think those are the scenarios that I am looking into, and I feel that on Wednesday, each and every opposition leader will be looking at the possible outcomes in this in the coming by-elections as a litmus test or a referendum to their unity. Oh, what do you think? Is there anything different from that?
No, what is happening, especially in this by-election?
Salendo, you're right. I just okay. Somebody's speaking.
Okay. What I'm telling you is this: when you look at all these by-elections that are taking place,
Mm.
the one that will be mostly watched or mostly focused on is going to be Mbeere. And the reason why I'm saying that, I cannot talk about Kasipul, Ugunja, because those are uh, constituencies that ODM will sweep from the look of things. ODM is going to win Kasipul, ODM is going to win Ugunja with
Mhm.
ease. That is my prediction. When we come to Malava, Malava, I'm seeing Seth Panyako winning, but it's not going to be a landslide win. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
going to be the percentage is going to be um they are going to be contested the way we say. But for Mbeere is going to be quite interesting. The reason being, remember, we have so many people who are at stake here. And that's why you would see even Kindiki, the way he was campaigning with Rigathi Gachagua, the way all that he was saying, Takutoa Nguo. Because one, you know, Mbeere was a creation of the president. And to me, I think president wanted to test something, especially for the Mount Kenya, the popularity, his popularity. Because when Ruku was appointed as a CS, you cannot convince me in that area there were no learned people who could take over. And the president has to go for somebody who was a member of parliament. So by appointing Ruku, he was testing again his popularity in that area, bearing in mind that he had already appointed Kindiki to be the deputy president. That is one. Another scenario is also to the deputy president to prove himself to the president that he can do it. Because remember, our politics is usually about numerical. It's not about ideology. It's about numerical. And that's why even in all those campaigns, nobody was talking about idea. Nobody was talking about the issues that are affecting those areas. Yeah. So if Kindiki is going to deliver that to President William Ruto, that one puts him in a very good spot, and even to be like somebody who will get the deputy president in the 2027. But if he doesn't deliver this, things will change. And Cecil Mbarire too is she's walking a very tight race. She has also to deliver, because if you look at the polls, especially the polls and the popularity of Cecil Mbarire in that county, she's not doing good. Furthermore, she's a UDA chairperson. Yeah. So, of all the 24 by elections that are going to take place on Thursday, Mbeere North is one that is going to determine, especially the popularity of the president and the popularity of Rigathi Gachagua when you look at the central Kenya.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we are joined here by Jose. Jose, karibu sana.
Mzalendo.
Yes. Just
As you welcome Jose, actually, as we welcome Jose, I just want to echo something from what Brother Ben have said, that this by-election has come at the right time, and we don't need a referendum to test and gauge and prepare for the 2027. It has happened to the point whereby we are having by-election in Central, we are having a by-election in Nyanza, we are having a by-election in Western, and we are also having a by-election in Coast. You know what this one means. When you talk of Western and Nyanza, this is the backbone of the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, and the ODM and the rest, and that is where numbers are. We are not going to talk of Rift Valley because that one is with the president. When you talk of Coast, we're also going to see were these people working with Raila, or they can still work and associate with Raila's party, even in the absence of Raila. Then when it comes to Central, this is where the numbers are. We're having the deputy president. So the president is telling Kindiki, now prove to me that you deserve to be a deputy president beyond 2027. Prove to me that I'll still have this number, or should I think otherwise? Remember, there've been pressure that ODM might want to be given the position of the deputy president. So it is now upon Kindiki to tell or prove to Ruto that I'll still be able to convince my numbers, because politics is about numbers. Why would the president work with Kindiki if he's not going to add anything on the table? So he has to prove to the president that even when you are going to negotiate with the ODM for a position, I can still deliver that which they will deliver. So get better terms of negotiation with them. So Kindiki is the man to watch here, and he knows that his work is at stake. And when he will lose this, then he should know that when he's going to the negotiation table, then now he doesn't add much weight. So he will try to work hard and ensure that he at least gives some hope to the president, so that as people discuss the position of the deputy president, he's not as much threatened as it seemed to be. At the same time, the united opposition are also the only place that they call their stronghold is this Central. There is no united opposition in Nyanza. There's no united opposition in Western, in Rift Valley, and these all other regions. So the only place that they are having their imposter kingpin is Central. So that imposter kingpin will have to prove that, you see, I also have numbers. I'm the kingpin of Mount Kenya. And this Mbeere and the Meru are still worshipping the Gikuyu. They are still facing the mountain because we are the owners of the mountain. So it's going to be so tricky. When it comes to Western, William Ruto wants to send these partilers like Eugene Wamalwa back home early enough. He wants to tell them that Western was Raila and me. And if UDA wins that seat, then it means that those people who are in Western, the ones who are in ODM will have to stick to ODM, and the rest will have to follow William Ruto. So he wants to tell them that we still control this place. Of course, what I know is, and from my prediction, the united opposition might get some MCA seats, but for the parliamentary seats that are going to be there, the only one that I'm not sure of, because I told you these people never disappoint, they will elect that person that you don't expect they're going to elect. That person who will attach emotions to them is Mbeere. But the rest, my prediction is Ugonja is going to be a landslide, 90 plus. Kasipul is going to be a landslide. You know that one very well. These gangs cannot, and they will not. And at the end of the day, it is going to shape. It's going to shape the politics of Nyanza. Those people who've been saying it is Raila. I don't know if they are going to blame Raila in his grave. That will be the end. Once Wanga wins in Kasipul, that will be the end of the noisemakers like Odoyo Wede, Kideros, and those other people, you know them. That will be their end. And that will also be a beginning of impeachment of the deputy governor, because you cannot be in a party and go and publicly campaign against your party candidate and you call yourself a deputy governor. And for those people who are advising him, they're really misleading him, because once you are impeached, then that is the end of you politically. So for Yugi Magwanga, he shot himself on the knees, and after this, they're going to initiate his impeachment, and that is the end. So 2027, Gladys Wanga is wise. She pushed Magwanga to go and support an opponent to get a reason to impeach him, because he knows that if that
Oh,
one had not happened in
on what
2027.
grounds? On what grounds will you be impeaching Magwang?
Oh, impeachment, James Orengo once told you, are political. These are politically instigated, and they are political. And we have what is called
Okay,
the party
okay.
loyalty.
I think Magwanga will have his day in court. But before Magwanga has his day in court, let me welcome somebody from Mbeere, Emodo Wanyumba, to tell us exactly what is happening. And before I welcome Jose, let me say hi to the people who are watching us at home. Richo Tieno, Dickens Albert, Kiproto Kiter Nation, Jeremy Kitabu, Moesh, asante sana Moesh, Alejandro J. Kingston, asante sana, thank you very much. Willie Kiptuye, thank you very much. Moses Ngugi, thank you very much for tuning in on Africa. If you have not made a point of subscribing on this channel, make sure that you go to our YouTube page, Africa24, and subscribe on that particular page so that you can get this top-notch analysis from our able panelists here, Joseph and Leo, and Brother Ben once in a while when we meet here to discuss the heartbeat of our country, Kenya. Karibu sana, Jose. You're kind of breaking. Network ni mbaya nini? No, you need to log out and log back. We can barely hear you. Log out. Yeah, thank you very much, Joseph. And now, Leo, you brought in some very interesting angles that I feel I need to comment about. If Gladys Wanga wins in Kasipul, that is a win for ODM and a win for her in 2027. She will have consolidated the power. And remember, she's the chair lady for ODM, so atakuwa amefanya kazi ya ziada hapo. If she manages to win in Kasipul, which is a referendum on our leadership, then that means that she's well going to get two terms in 2027. And for people like Magwanga, who have gone against the party, against the party, it will also mean that they are not in a working relationship, and they need to find a new home somewhere where they can be accepted, and not in a party where Leo is the one who is calling the shots. So I think we are going to see a lot happening in politics in Luo Nyanza. Uh, Jose, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now loud and clear. I think Leo has dropped.
Yes, so thank you for hosting us this morning. I hear there has been so much sentiment that have been brought up here in by our panelists who are here, Leo and Benson, brother Benson.
Yes.
And one of them, I'm going to start with Mount Kenya because they said Central, so I'm going to say Mount Kenya politics. There is one of your viewers here has commented and said that hamjui watu wa Mount Kenya nyinyi. I think he's trying to tell you what is happening there. You know, I don't think people are understanding what is happening there.
You
To
kept
come,
on telling us now. I believe you. I believe many people have told us, "Hey, we don't know Mount Kenya." Now, I think Leo has also agreed that people in Mount Kenya vote with emotion. Is that true?
yeah, people in Mount Kenya vote with emotion. That is true. There is nothing less than what they vote for. They vote for emotions. And I heard Leo saying that the only stronghold that United Opposition have is only Central Kenya or Mount Kenya. But I thought he forgot to mention Kamba region. Is Kamba not in the United Opposition? Because they have a kingpin and they have a stronghold. Kamba votes have been helping Raila Odinga all through. since 2013. And also, I want to ask: does Kisii not is not a region, because they have almost 1 million votes? So I did not understand Leo when he said the only place where United Opposition have support is Mount Kenya. But now I'll come to Brother Benson comment. I heard him saying that this one is going to prove how Mount Kenya is either going to have votes for William Ruto or not. I want to tell Brother Benson, because we have been arguing about this point over and over again. You cannot gauge politics for Mount Kenya with Mbeere Mbeere elections. You cannot, because Mbeere elections, the way Kikuyus, Mbeeres are Embus. They are not Kikuyus. We have so many. We have 4 sub tribes in the what you call Gema. Kikuyu are a different kind of. It's like the way you can say in Luo, you have so many sub tribes. That is the same way we have. Ours even is not sub tribe; it is tribes, because Embu is a tribe, Meru is a tribe. So this is Embus who are speaking now. This is not Kikuyus who are speaking now. It is the people of Embu who are speaking. Kikuyus, when their time will come, they are going to speak. And Kikuyus, I'm telling you, they are angry with this government. Embus, they can be some. You'll find them. They'll vote for Ruto a bit. It depends with the way they see, because they have, like the people of Tharaka Nithi, they have a deputy, so they can try to say labda huyu ni mtu wetu. But I'm telling you, you cannot compare. You cannot come here and say that Mbeere will give you the voice of what is happening. What it will give you is, are they together with the Mount Kenya people? That is what it will give you. The Mbeere elections will give you only that. If is the Embu and the Meru people, no, even we don't count the Meru. We say the Embu people, are they part of what the Kikuyu are saying? That is what is going to give us. But when you come to certain areas, brother, like Nyeri, Murang'a, and Kiambu, most of it, I think there is where even it is worse. I don't think even, I hope there was by-elections in those areas, because they could have shown you the real deal of what is going to happen in 2027 in those certain regions. But now we are not taking it as Central, because Central is a different breed. Then there is Mount Kenya. That's why it's called Mount Kenya. It's not called Central. So when somebody comes here talks about Central is the counties Kiambu, Nyeri, and Murang'a. Those are the Central. But when you come to talk about Mount Kenya now, you come and include Embu, Meru, Tharaka Nithi. Then you go and include the other guys like Kipia, like Kipia County. Now that is what we say Mount Kenya is, because they are the regions surrounding Mount Kenya. But Central is a region which was only for Kiambu, Nyeri, and Murang'a before. So for me, coming to comment on this about Mbeere elections, Mbeere elections will not be easy, as people have said. It is true, it will not be easy, but I see a winning of Newshon Karisha. He's going to take this seat, but it is not going to be that easy. But if Ruto is going to try to measure this Mbeere, he's going to try and measure how many votes he's going to get with this by-election in Mbeere, is going to be very mistaken. If that is what he's trying to do, but if he wants to do that is okay, but I'm telling you, brother Mzalendo, hii mambo si rahisi hivyo wanadhania. Hiyo Mount Kenya mnasikia inaitwa West, hiyo ndio imemgojea vibaya kuliko hiyo East. Hata angalau hiyo East anaweza enda apige campaign vizuri na ongee. Mount Kenya West is where I think things are haywire. They don't want to hear him.
I feel that you are now 50-50 that Ruto might actually win in Mbeere, and that should not be a referendum on the people of Mount Kenya, that they now support they support UDA. I agree with your point that Mbeere is going to be tricky, and one thing is because the government has poured a lot of money in some of these constituency. And remember, Kindiki comes from that particular area. Dixon Gilbert is what Dixon Gilbert is saying that what is Dixon Gilbert saying? Dixon Gilbert is saying that Magwanga will go home early in the morning because he can't be opposing the party that have ensured that is now the deputy governor. Let me tell Dixon that Magwanga comes from the larger region called Karachuonyo, and that is the region that has the biggest voting bloc in Oma Bay, and that is the more reason why he was given the deputy governor. Even if Bagwanga goes home, then probably Gladys Wanga will look for alliance elsewhere or somebody from that region to be the deputy governor. But this contest is also uh, a contest against the governor, Gladys Wanga. It's not really Boyd Were. This rebellion that you are seeing with the DG and many other people who have been citing corruption in Oma Bay have got a right to why they to show their support for a candidate that they feel will represent the region. Remember, Kasip is called the DG, the deputy governor was an MP for Kasipul, and he was an MP for a long time in that particular constituency and was voted
Mzalendo,
number one in many occasions. So he has a
Mzalendo.
say on his constituency. Yes, Mr. Leo.
Mzalendo, I really like the fact that you believe in the regional alliances, despite always telling us here that we don't need to have alliances based on regions and clans, and we need to align ourselves based on ideologies. So that one tells me that you're still agreeing that in our societies we have the voter identity, and in most cases, the default voter identity is always our clans and such kind of things, not the ideologies.
I
And
I
there is one thing,
I have
one
told you
thing,
many times. Listen, Leo,
yeah.
don't put words into my mouth. I've told you many times that I don't subscribe to the tribal ideology that you
But just from your statement,
and I also
how
I
you've described Magwanga is enough to show
listen.
that you subscribe to
I,
it.
I
How have
have
you've not supported Magwanga's ideology? Instead, you've told us that
I
Magwanga
have
comes
told
from a
you, I
region
have
rich
told
of
you,
numbers, which is
Magwanga as
not
an
ideology.
MP, Magwanga as an MP worked very well, and he did a lot of wonders in Kasipul constituency. I support him in whatever he has done. I support his views on Oma Bay County, where he's citing corruption directly, where the MCAs have failed in the oversight role is the one who has now been pointing out on the corruption. I support all those voices that have been saying that this is going wrong in Oma Bay. They have
Okay,
been
now
not. They are not.
allow me make
And
my point.
you
I know
you
you come from Homa Bay, so now just allow
you
me
want
make my point.
everybody to be part of the choir, but we are not going to
No,
be a choir
allow me
that is
make my
corrupt,
point.
right?
I know you support Magwanga, and you belong to the same team with Magwanga. I know that one. I'll not get into that. You are Magwanga represents the Kideros and all those who've been losing elections and blaming it on Raila. And the next time I know,
No,
even you personally, Raila is not there. So before you go to that, I know if I give you the whole day, you'll support Magwanga. There's
I
one
like
thing I
the
want to
fact.
come up with. This idea of the deputy presidents and the deputy governors claiming that they are fighting corruption within the government, they are assistants too. I think they are fooling us as voters. A deputy president or a deputy governor is an assistant to a governor or a president. So if there's corruption in Siaya, there's corruption in Homa Bay, or there's corruption in Nairobi, or there's corruption in Kenya, then the deputy president and the deputy governor are the ones assisting the governors in this corruption. So they should not politically come out and tell us, oh, you see, there's corruption, yet they're assisting that corruption. And just these are just mere
How
PR
are
that
they
we should not bank
assisting
on them.
corruption?
So back to the question that I was to respond to Dickens' issue and Oyugi Magwanga. What is happening in this by-election? Boyd Were is a good man. He doesn't have any bad history, and the people campaigning against him, you will all agree, they are campaigning. They are not campaigning against Boyd. They are campaigning against Boyd's father, who is dead, buried in the grave. And that is the reason why they are specifically going to lose. They've not mentioned anything evil, anything negative about Boyd. They've just been mentioning the people who are out to settle the
No, no,
grudges
no,
that they
no,
had
no,
with
no,
Were.
no, no, no,
Were
no.
was
You
a
don't
bad
mislead
man.
people.
Were was a monster, but
Yes.
now you cannot carry the baggage of Were and put it in his innocent son. I started by telling you we have Gideon Moi. His
Have
father
you
was
have you
really
have you
a
had
dreadful
have you
man,
had
but
the have
look
you
at
had
Gideon
this
Moi
have
as
you
an
had this
individual.
saying in Doluo that they're saying what a son a
What they say mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka, but
mtoto
those
wa
things, I
nyoka
think
ni nyoka.
those things are they lack some logics, because we have some practical examples of people like Gideon Moi who, despite coming from dreadful parents, are charted their own way. So
But
let us look at this.
anyway, let us look at it in a different
Yeah, let us
angle.
look at it in this way. It is a fact that I agree with everybody that the
let us look at competence, ability,
exactly,
and the policies that all
exactly.
these candidates are selling. So far, I have not seen what Boyd Were is selling apart from Chude Chude. I have
Eh?
seen Otete selling
What
his
is Otete
policies.
selling? What is he selling
Otete
apart from apart?
is talking about education. He's talking about the
Oh,
infrastructure. He's
come on,
talking about.
Mzalendo.
I am telling
Mzalendo,
you.
come
I have.
on.
Do you want me to put for you a clip?
No,
And we
before you
compare the
put,
two.
let me come to you. Don't
Mm.
tell me that somebody wants to become an MP and is talking about which education. We've had MPs who are going to tell you, I've heard Boyd talking of how we'll distribute bursary, which to me is nonsense. I want to see somebody who wants to campaign and tell you our education has deteriorated. Instead of giving bursaries, we want to ensure that people can just walk in and learn. So all these people are telling you how they are going to distribute bursaries, and you think they are promising some things that have not
I,
been
I,
promised. Education has always been there. Right now,
I think for
how
me,
many months since
listen.
Omonduwere died and people are getting educated? These are
As
kind of nonsense that we
I
cannot
have,
just tell our
I
people
have,
that.
I agree. They are kind of nonsense, but for me, I feel that the people of the elections in Kasipul have been very, very brutal. It is high time they come to their senses. They elect a leader that they want. They stop the violence and the killings that have been happening in that particular constituency. Uh, Ethnic mobilization or party mobilization or a group of individuals mobilizing for the party, it's a good thing, but let it be surrounded by policies that will help the people of Kasipul. Otherwise, it remains to be seen whether this ethnic mobilization that has been going on is helping the people of Homa Bay and at large ODM, the party that you support. So I don't really think that it has helped them much time in memorial, and they need to probably rethink of the strategies moving forward. One of them was that they now thought that broad-based government is something that will deliver for the people. Yes, it's a good idea to some; it is a bad idea to other people. So elections in Kasipul or in Mbeere or in Malava, let it be decided by the people of that particular region. Let somebody like Leo, who is coming from Uyoma, not decide what is going to happen in Kasipul. That is democracy. Let the people of the voters in Kasipul know exactly what they need. You cannot dictate to them what they need. They know their needs. They know what they want, and in 2020, in on 27th, they will exercise that right. Yeah.
Brother Mzalendo, can I ask a
Yes.
question to Leo?
Yes.
I want to know if what if Boyd Were is won in these by-elections? What will it mean for ODM? That is the question. And not only ODM. What will it mean for now politics going forward in the Luo nation?
If Boyd Were is
If
if
Is
Boyd
what
Were
did he
is
defeated.
say? What he's saying is this:
Okay, okay.
there is a
I think I'll
scenario
respond
where
to that.
wait a minute, ODM loses Kasipul. What is the implication of that, of ODM moving
I get
forward?
it. I get it. And
And
actually,
it
that is
it
what I
goes
started with.
again and loses in Kilifi.
And let me respond to that. And that is why when I started, I said that these elections, these by-elections is not only about the constituents. So that is why some of us who are not even coming from those constituencies are more interested. It is not about Kasipul, actually. In Kasipul, there are two scenarios. It is number one, it is about ODM. Number two, it is about their governor called Gladys Wanga. So I lose, if Boyd Were loses in these elections, it means that Gladys Wanga have lost ground. Remember, Boyd's dad was somebody who was very, very associated to Gladys Wanga. He was the crowd mobilizer, and the votes that Wanga got in Kasipul were courtesy of Ongondo Were. Ongondo Were was the Gachagua of that place. He even had women with some orange uniforms and a choir that will dance and such kind of things. That is why when you look at the by-election in Kasipul, it is more illuminated than what is happening in my neighboring constituency, Ugunja. Simply because of the interest that is vested in Kasipul goes beyond ODM. So ODM's lose in
You can't even know
Kasipul
what
will
is
mean
happening.
that Gladys Wanga have lost ground, and anyone who want to challenge him, including the deputy governor who comes from Kasipul, will already start celebrating that in 2027 it will be easy to defeat Gladys Wanga. Number two, it will also mean that ODM is also losing ground. Remember, ODM's strength is in these three counties, that is Homa Bay, Busia, and Mombasa. Those are the places that ODM is really strong. Me, where I come from, my member of parliament is not a member of ODM. I come from Uganda constituency, so it's really going to communicate, and that is why when you see the whole ODM entourage in Homa Bay, it will tell you that this thing is beyond Kasipul, and they are going to do everything possible, including using the powers that they imagine to have. I don't know if they have it. And it's also going to prove to people, if they lose, it will mean that even this broad-based government doesn't even have powers to manipulate elections. But I say that in quotes. I don't mean that elections are always manipulated. There's always that belief. Some people believe in system, Buru's system that failed in 2022. So they also have to
Now we have the system.
prove that
I don't
these
think that
systems
system.
also exist.
Don't go back. Don't go back in 2022 when you had all the system, but you're still beaten with that system. Now you have the broad based, and probably you will lose with the broad based in your hand.
And actually that is what I'm saying. And I listened to the IBC elections coordinator, who happens to be my uncle, speak yesterday of how they are prepared. Actually, he happens to my uncle, and there's one gentleman who even testified against Raila and Gladys Wanga after the 2022 elections, the coordinator in Homa Bay. So I was listening to him, and I was calling him later and checking, and telling me they are really prepared. So let us look at the Magarini. Magarini, I've told you, ODM is going to win, but it is going to be highly contested. The other candidate is equally strong. And in the absence of Raila, those people, Abdul Swamad, they have to prove their worth. Remember, right now, ODM is at grabs. Forget about the party leadership that has been accorded to Oburu. Oburu is old, actually. He cannot run. He doesn't have energy to run ODM. ODM needs you to be launching everything, to be physically appearing everywhere. So Oburu, if given ODM to run within 2 months, he will be dead, because he's going to be physically and mentally exhausted. So everybody now wants to become a party leader. Like, from my own conviction, I've always believed that this party should go to Simba Arati. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you think Simba Arati can do a better job?
So everybody has to
than
prove. Look at the kind of campaign that Simba Arati did. If you watched him yesterday, he has to win all the ward elections in Gusii. So everybody is trying to prove themselves. ODM is out for grabs. It's like there is a lady there, and you also have to prove. So this is why this election is so interesting. It's not about the people who are going to elect.
No,
it's not
but
about the constituents. But there is a bigger.
Leo, does your party have a candidate in Kisii?
Sorry?
Does Simbarati have an ODM candidate running in Kisii?
Mzalendo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Nakusikiza. You cannot hear me, but I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Simbarati is having ODM candidate. There's some ward elections in Kisii, and he really campaigned there. I'll just get the name. He was really busy campaigning there, and he is sure that he's going to ensure that all the ODM by elections in his region, that is the Greater Kisii and Nyamira, are home. But maybe this is a story for another day. You can organize. We can check on who ought to now that Oburu is there temporarily. And I can tell you people, if you give Oburu 6 months there, that old man, you people are going to kill him. He doesn't have the energy right now, physical energy and mental energy to lead ODM. And if we are wise enough, Simbarati can really lead this party. And I have so many convincing reasons why Simbarati right now has got the energy and everything to lead the ODM party as a party leader.
Anyway, you guys have not
bring his power to life.
I want to tell Rio one thing. You know, Rio, sometimes he seems he's very biased to some areas, because I hear him saying Simba Arati can do something in Kisii. Do you truly even know, in your guts, think that Simba Arati is going to win Matiang'i in those by-elections? Because that is Matiang'i versus Simba Arati. And the high octane politics that is in Kisii.
Matiang'i is a civil servant who can work as a cabinet secretary or anything, but when it comes to politics, Matiang'i has not yet reached the level of Simbarati. That one I can confidently tell you.
But it does not mean if you are a cabinet secretary, it does not mean that you cannot campaign. Where does it stop you from campaigning? That was the work he was doing. But it depends with the voice you have.
Acumen.
It depends with the voice you have and the MPs you have. Which MPs are following?
There are people like Duale. There are people like Duale.
Leo.
Their cabinet secretaries like Duale, who are equally politicians, but there is the Matiang'i, the Magohas. Those are not politicians, and the elections are coming, and it will prove you. Matiang'i cannot even coordinate a single political meeting to its success.
Leo, you know why I asked you that question?
Physically. So Matiang'i is not a politician. We have to.
You know why the question I asked you, Mzalendo, let me, because I've been quiet here.
Okay, Jose, go on.
Leo, relax. You're going too fast.
Politics is not about running institutions.
Leo, politics is not emotions, brother.
You have to appoint experts to do the work.
Sasa tutaweza kuongea Leo ama utaongea mpaka kesho, mpaka yetu wakuje.
What you see up.
So Leo does not give a chance to somebody to.
We lost him.
So what I was trying to say, Mzalendo, is Leo has said Matiang'i is a public servant. It's okay if he was a public servant, but you look politics in a kind of way that even in the region, which people are supporting you in that region? If you look at most of the members of parliament in Kisii, where are they camping to? That is the real question. You can be having, even you, Mzalendo, if he wants to take it as he was a cabinet secretary and he was a civil servant and he cannot do campaign. Whoever thought that a one-time MP by the name Rigathi Gachagua could come and overtake all the people even who have been having 3 terms in Mount Kenya and become a person who is people are calling a kingpin. You cannot just stamp somebody because he has been a cabinet secretary that he's just done and dusted. I look at the instances of the MPs supporting Matiang'i and I'm shocked because if you see the likes of Akina Onyonka and the likes of Akina, there is another guy, Kongo Mwongeni. You know Mwongeni? Most of those guys, they are supporting the cause. Kisii people are not stupid, Brother Mzalendo. They know what they are gunning for. Kisii people are coming out of the shadows where they were, and they need to be recognized as a community. So if they need to be recognized as a community, what will they do? They need to have an Achai in them. So is the Nyachai in them in this guy called Simba Arati, or is the Nyachai in them in the Matiang'i? Because if you look at the Simba Arati, even if he's told is the Nyachai of the Kisii region, he'll still be undermined by ODM party members because he's still a deputy. He cannot clinch that seat of becoming the party leader. But when they look at the other side, the other instance of Matiang'i, they look this guy. He truly can make him a party leader, and he can be in the table where he'll be able to talk on our behalf. So that's why I was asking Rio. Sometimes politics is not emotions, brother Mzalendo. Politics sometimes is you look at it and you analyze it in a broader way. When you put out the nini, you see even me when I came here sikuambia ati Rigathi ni atashinda ati kura ngapi ati sijui ataenda kabisa in Mbeere. I told you it is not an easy task. So politics analyzing is all about that, Mzalendo. We need to check at those areas and see if Kisi truly what they are talking. You know, even the greater instance is Kisi was involved in too much of the demonstration in 2024 and 2025. If you saw that picture, Kisi region was amongst when Kisumu and the rest of the Luo region was quiet. Kisi was fully involved in this demonstration. What does that try to show you? It shows you that Kisi is trying to get an identity that they want in themselves, and I think it's going to show along the way. But don't ever come and rubbish somebody by saying he was just a cabinet secretary. That one is very dangerous. Just saying that he was a cabinet secretary, he cannot be able to campaign. Campaigns is not for anybody. Campaign anybody can do. Campaigns is just when you have the people following you, you can be able to do it. You can be able to do it. So we cannot just come and rubbish anybody just the way we feel like. Because you are supporting Simba Arati, si ati kumaanisha Simba Arati ni yeye anasikikana Kisii. You can be supporting him with your emotions, but in the ground it depends. So in Nyamira we are going to see, and that one is going to show Leo. Leo is here. He's talking about Simba Arati. We will see in that by-election. See Konyamira. The by-elections is in Nyamira. We are going to see what will happen in Nyamira because it's a MCA seat, but it's still going to be a thing that is going to be checked in 2027 politics because that is something. I think even the only person against Matiang'i in that region is who? I think the only person against Matiang'i who has leadership is only Osoro and maybe Simba Arati. Who else can you tell me, brother Mzalendo?
Mm-hmm.
Who else can you tell me is?
I think you know Leo. What he missed is that at one point, Simbarati said that if Matiang'i is going to run for the presidency, then he cannot challenge him, but they will support him as a community. So that is something that the Kisi people have really decided that if Matiang'i will be on the ballot, uh, then they are going to support him. Now, there's a bigger question that these by-elections, and I'm telling you, Joseph, we have to look at it very, very keenly. Uh, the risk of parties winding up is very, very imminent. If ODM lose in the coastal region and they unfortunately lose in Kasipul, uh, then that gives UDA a consolidated support to go for these regions and tell them, we will field the UDA candidates since you guys are not in control of this region. I think that is what is going to happen in the politics. A scenario where ODM loses both Kasipul and Kilifi, UDA wins in Mbeere and Malava, ODM bases will definitely collapse, and UDA dominates the politics. So ODM might fragment into smaller pieces if they lose these by elections. 2027 becomes a one-sided contest. If UDA wins in Mbeere, I am telling you, in 2027 this contest will be one-sided. If ODM wins in Kasipul and they win in all those strongholds that they have assumed before, then this contest is going to be very, very tricky for the opposition. They have to go to the drawing board and rethink of what is their next strategy. What do you think?
Yeah, it has so many ramifications, because if ODM is going to be won in Kilifi, Brother Benson, Brother Mzalendo, sorry, I call Brother Mzalendo, if ODM is going to be defeated in the coastal region in Kilifi, it means that even the say of Joho as the regional kingpin will be in total chaos. Because yesterday you saw Ali Muhammad, this Jichopevu guy, entered into politics. You heard him talking and saying that mimi naweza shindana na Joho peke yangu. So you see he's campaigning for the DCP candidate, and that one will gauge too much on how the regional politics of coast will be. And
Yeah,
coast is a chunk of votes.
he wants to run for the gubernatorial seat in Mombasa. So and Joe and this other guy, they are budding.
Someone,
Yeah,
someone.
yeah. So he has to go a different direction.
Yeah, so that one, it's everywhere, brother Mzalendo. This one is happening in all corners. It is happening in the coast. It is happening in Luo region. It's happening in Western. So it has so many ramifications. If you are won in this election by elections, it means even if Nani is won, it's called Gachagua is won in these very elections. It will have so much ramifications in the Mount Kenya. So these are things we are going to see, because it is in 2 days, 1 day time, because we are going for the election on Thursday. So it's just tomorrow. So we are going to see how it is going to pan out. But there is people who are going to be more casualties. Like, for example, in Kasipul, if the Boyd Were is won, it means that Wanga needs to forfeit and know that her governorship is done. If in this one, like like in Kisi, if the candidate who is being supported by Matiang'i wins, it means Barati need to go to the drawing board and strategize on what he'll do, because his governorship will be in trouble. But if Matiang'i is won, he needs also to restructure and know how will I deal my politics in Kisi region. It means that ODM is it still has the strong footprint. So when we go to the places like Malava, Malava is another one to see, because Malava, I don't think there is so many ramifications on Natembea, because Natembea is just trying to unite the Luo region. But for Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, they have so much to lose. If they lose that seat, I think it will be trouble for them. It will spell doom for them, because you remember that Malava seat was for ANC party, now in UDA. So it will be a problem for Musalia Mudavadi even to convince the UDA or William Ruto that he still has a foothold in Western. For Natembea and for the likes of Akina Eugene Wamalwa, the only problem will be it will mean they don't have a foothold in Western politics. It has a foothold on where they are, like Trans Nzoia and all these things. But if they are beaten by Natembea, brother Mzalendo, it means Natembea is getting a foothold in Western. So we go to Mbeere. Mbeere, I already told you, Mbeere is a very, very tricky and delicate situation. Because if Gachagua is won in Mbeere, that kingpin crown, so many now, not all, so many MPs are against Gachagua. And even you see the likes of Akina Ngojiri Wambogo is always abusing Rigathi Gachagua. I think this one will be a field day for them. And it will show that Rigathi Gachagua still is not the kingpin of the mountain. And he now, I think even he will grow slower, because if you are defeated in a certain by-election and you're saying that the mountain is locked by you, so what does it mean? It means you don't have a foothold in everything and every say in the Mount Kenya region. But if it goes that Kindiki is won and Sisiri Barire, if Sisiri Barire they are won in that by-election, it means Sisiri Barire, as a governor, she needs to forget about the gubernatorial of the Embu. Then for Kindiki, it will be terrible for him, because he's the current deputy president. So what if he's won in a by-election near the doorstep? Because that by-election is near his doorstep. It's only in Mbeere. It is from Tharaka. They always call it Mount Kenya East. It means Kindiki will have a very hard time to convince the president that he still have a footing in any of the say in Mount Kenya. Because now that one we mean that Rigathi Gachagua has taken the Mount Kenya politics and is the kingpin. So to talk and Ruto likes to speak with people who already have numbers. So Ruto will try now to see if he can be able to get connections with Rigathi Gachagua. For people like Roko, I think they are going to be dismissed as a CS if they are going to be won that by elections. There's going to be a reshuffle in the cabinet if they are won, and I'm telling you, Roko will be a casualty of this one. Then
Yeah.
which other ones have I not said? In Kariobangi, Moso, we are going to see. It depends with the might, because Kariobangi, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
also is very
There's a
difficult one.
guy, Oush. Oush
Yeah.
has been contesting on ODM for the longest time, but he's been losing. So I don't know whether this time round he's going to win. He doesn't seem to. He's a friend of mine. I wish him the best of luck. I don't want to talk anything negative of my friends. I wish
No,
you.
I wish
I
for
wish
him all the
I
best,
wish you
brother
the best.
Mzalendo.
I wish you the best. Hiki tumejaribu sana bwana chairman, tumejaribu sana
But
na
I saw
raundi.
Sifuna doing for him campaign. Sifuna was doing for him campaign. I think
Yes,
yesterday
uh,
I
yeah.
saw him campaigning for him.
The SG was there doing for the ODM candidate campaigns. Congratulations. We hope that this time round utachukua hiyo kiti ya Kariobangi North. Yeah, he has tried for a very long time. Now ODM wins in Kasipul and Kilifi. Opposition wins in Mbeere and Malava.
Things
That
will be
will
the same.
things
Things
will be
will start.
yeah. The
We remain
status
the
quo.
same. They remain the same.
The
But I
status
have a
quo will be
question, Zalendo. I wanted
yes,
to ask you a question.
yes.
What does it mean for Sifuna if ODM is beaten in Kasipul? Because we never thought about that. What happens to the SG post? Will it make
SG.
him stronger, or will it make him? I think they strategize and know how they are going to remove.
I think what has happened with the SG, he has avoided the Kasipul election. I think they were divided with the chairman campaigning in Kasipul more. The secretary general, if he loses, okay, they will lose as a party. If they lose in Kasipul, that will be a great shocker because the party has really invested a lot in Kasipul by election. And that is the only seat that I am seeing can be flipped from ODM by Philip Aroko. If that happens, then I think Sifuna Furimi will not be surprised. It will be a referendum against not Boyd Were but Gladys Wanga's leadership. And for a very long time, many people have thought that the ODM members of parliament were not going to campaign in Kasipul. There was a lot of rumor going on that where are the other MPs and not supporting Boyd Were in Kasipul. One person that has been missing in these campaigns is Junet Mohammed, and nobody is talking about it. Junet has taken a sabbatical leave, is nowhere in ODM. In ODM rallies or ODM campaigns, I've not heard about him.
I think Brother Mzalendo Junet wants to shift. I think he's shifting. I think the way he was told he can go and take and try to take his politics to northeastern. I think he's trying to do that because he was told that he's welcome to northeastern, and
I
he does
think
his campaign. But then he'll
I
come back
think
home.
most likely is going to go to UDA. UNET is going to go fully to UDA. We are going to see a lot of shifts. If this by election people are going to lose, if ODM loses in some of its strongholds, their members are going to shift to UDA permanently because ODM cannot win without Raila Odinga. That is the thing. That is the message that will be sent out there. Uh,
But
and
do you think the elections will be free and fair, brother? I don't see them being free and fair. I
I
see.
I really think that a lot, both the opposition and the government have invested in these elections. If it is a matter of stealing elections, everybody who is either in the opposition have been part of the stealing, and they know where how to do it, and they know how it is done. So kila mtu hapa ni mjanja na ni mwizi. Kama ni kuiba, wameiba pamoja. Kama ni ukora, wote wamekuwa kwa serikali moja, and they know mali ukora wa Ruto inaanza na ya Gachagua zinaanza mali moja na zinaishia mali moja, because wamekuwa kwa serikali pamoja. Kama ni ukora ya uwizi wanajua, kama ni free and fairs watajua pia. So I think hao watu wanajuana kwa vilemba. So we hope to see, but we hope that the current IBC will conduct. This is also a challenge to the current IBC officials. We sincerely hope that they will conduct a free and fair election, and watu watarudi nyumbani kama wameridhika. If you lose this election, fine, you've got a chance after 1 year to contest in 2027. But for the IBC, will be their first elections since they took
Ca-
over.
ca- Can I answer a question that was asked there? There's a question which was asked: why are these by-elections important if they only involve 4 constituencies? Let me answer that question.
Yeah.
It's not only about constituencies, because we have 24 by-elections.
Mhm.
Even I was shocked. We have 24 by-elections at this time. So I
Yeah,
was
but the
shocked
ones
when the
that are
numbers, because the ones are being talked about, they are
are
only
four.
4.
Are only
And
four.
I think the problem is not about the constituencies, brother Benson, because even what brother Mzale, sorry, even
Mhm.
what we're talking about is not about people who are going to go and do something for their constituents. Hawa watu watafanya kitu. Is only 1 year remaining for them to work. So the only thing that is coming here, that's why you see, it's not about the candidates. If you go to Mbeere campaigns, what are you hearing, brother Mzalendo? You are
Mhm.
hearing about governor hakufanya hivi, CS hakuleta maji, deputy hakufanya nini. You're not hearing about the candidate, what is going to come and do. Then you hear in the other side wanasema nani hakufanya hivi, akiwa deputy hakufanya hivi, hakutuletea. It's all about the individuals who are up there. That is what it's about. That's why you are seeing it is high octane politics. It's not about the 4 constituencies. It's not about the 4 constituencies. It's about individuals who have higher seats. Most of them are in government, and most of them are in opposition seats. Then obviously we have only these by-elections which can come to clarify what has been happening between 2022 and now, because we remember in 2 years before, 1 year before, we had so much demonstration against Ruto government. So this is the real chance we have had to showcase if the president is still loved, mostly in Mount Kenya, if he's still loved or is not. So it is not about the 4 constituencies. It's about individuals who wants to show dominance in this certain constituencies and wards. So that is all about that. It's not about anything to do with the 4 constituencies.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right. You've attempted to answer the question, and I would give you a 60% in your answer. I would not give you 100%, but you did well. But the answer I was expecting from this particular question is because the act of the act of this by-election is actually to test the strength of these new political parties and this new formation. In Kasipul, Mbeere, and Kilifi are testing grounds for ODM without Raila, and UDA and their coalitions in broad-based government. These elections, these elections, these by-elections which are coming, they shape up the politics of 2027. 2027. That is why these four constituencies are so important, because whatever happens in the by-elections on Wednesday, will shape up the politics that is going to play in 2027. You will see some losses, but if the government loses in any of these by-elections, wapoteze tu kiti in any of these by-elections, then there is a big problem. And the reshuffle is coming. You entered it correctly. The reshuffle is coming. And William Ruto's government is looking at the performance in this by-election so that he can do his reshuffle according to the results in this by-election. If Kindiki is going to impress him in the by-elections in Mbeere, then he is rest assured that they can still do wonders in Kenya West. If they lose in Mbeere, and they lose with a big margin, or they lose slightly in Mbeere, then they know that there is some work that they need to do uh, in 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 uh, in Central. So they'll put more resources in Central so that they can win the Central people. In Western, if they lose in Western, then it emboldens people like Natebea and the DBK brigade to consolidate and kick out Wetangula and Mudavadi. Remember, earlier this year, we were hearing of stories that you know the speaker is going to be removed. I don't know whether you heard of those rumors. The speaker is going to be removed.
Yes.
Mudavadi is going to be kicked out. William Ruto is strategic. William Ruto is like a chess player. He's strategic. He's waiting for any wrong move. Upige move wrong hivi anakugonga. Unanielewa? Yeye anacheza tu siasa. Hata you will not see him haujamuona huko Malava, anatuma kina Faruk tu.
Lakini unajua pia tuongei kuhusu by elections zingine na pia ni important brother, by brother.
Hizo
Kuna
zingine
kuna Baringo
hii ya Baringo hiyo ni yao, hiyo UDA ni.
lakini na akishindwa unaweza
Hiyo
kuwa unasema ni yao.
Baringo.
Unajua walijaribu kuvuta Gideon Moi asisimame hiyo kiti and you know
Gideon,
Gideon Moi is like now they are not in terms with Ruto because we see even how standard is injecting
look, no, I think what it's a gentleman agreement that we are in business, and these headlines are the ones which sell our stories. So they are in agreement. I don't think that there is anything that Gideon Moy.
What about Narok?
Narok. Narok is very very cosmopolitan. Is very cosmopolitan. If DCP they have a candidate in Narok, then I feel that one would be a very very closely contested race that is going to happen in Narok. Remember the ODM, the governor is ODM or UDA. Uh,
Is UDA.
the governor is
Is
UDA.
ODM, is ODM, is ODM, is ODM, is
Yes, the
ODM.
governor is ODM, not UDA.
Olen what? Olen Tutu or Olen Tumama?
Oh no, it's not an
His name,
intimama. It's not an intimama. I
no,
have
he's called Ole something.
Ole
Ole Sankul. Let me tell you.
Sanku something. I remember he was a CS at some point.
Olen Tutu. Olen Tutu.
He's Olen Tutu.
Yeah, Narok County Governor is Olen Tutu. Patrick
Yes,
Olen Tutu.
Patrick Olen Tutu is the ODM, and I have not. I don't think he's very very popular on the ground, but he has been supporting the UDA candidate. ODM did not have a candidate in Narok, yeah. So DCP are making inroads in that particular area. So that place is tricky. Looking at the terrain and the politics in Masai, that is very very cosmopolitan. It can go either way. That is the same thing I'm saying. I'm talking about Kariobangi North, very very cosmopolitan. It can go any other way, depending on the politics of the day. And this will be, you know, something to tell you how Baba influenced the people. If the people don't turn out, or if there's a low turnout in this particular election, then anybody can carry the day. But with Baba, when he was present, then you would be rest assured that in ODM strongholds, nobody was going to go against his wish, especially in those elections. I think we have really tried to analyze every other aspect of this election, and perhaps you can
Oh, sorry, Mzalendo is from UDA.
yeah, it's from UDA. Okay.
Yes.
Perhaps now, brother Joseph, you can give your
Yes.
closing remarks. We have had a very wonderful show. We have got almost over 200 people still watching. And I don't know you guys whether you go home or you subscribe to Afrique. Jerry, Montage Phillips, Asante Sana, Kevin Were, Legisa Empire, Asante Sana. Uh, who else is watching us here? Is from Facebook, Facebook Love, Daniel Oporto, Rafael Kiambi, Ali DZ Juboy, Peter Mwange, Josphat Lemayan, Enoch Apollo, Mwenda Man, and many more that I can't read all of you. You are 100 and something. All I wish is that you subscribe to our freak so that you can hear brother Joseph here analyzing the politics the way we look at it. We are not biased. We look at the facts that are laid bare, and we try to be as neutral as possible. Joseph, your closing remarks, sir.
Yes, thank you. I'm very sorry today. I came late, a bit late. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay.
You could have given me a heads up today. I'm very sorry. I
I
came.
really apologize because each and every time I start this segment, I start it alone. I want one thing. I like your insight. I like how you look at the politics. I will always be giving you a heads up when we have this special edition of 60 minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will look forward to it. So I want
Yeah.
to thank our viewers for coming to listen to us. Brother Benson, we say we are not all that knowledgeable. We say we just try to analyze things with the study and seeing how the political events are turning out. So I thank everybody. But one thing I want to leave us with is I'm hoping IEBC is going to conduct a very free and fair elections, because this one is going to show how they are going to really conduct themselves in 2027. If they are going to bundle this election, these by-elections, it is going to put people in fear that IEBC is compromised. You know, I've had instances of people saying IEBC is compromised. Let them just know that these by-elections are being watched closely, because not only in Kenya they are being watched. These by-elections, because of the emergence of all these people, players in the by-elections, is being watched closely even by international community. So they need to be very, very careful when they are conducting these by-elections, and let them send people who understand how to manage the by-elections, please. So that is what I leave them with. Tomorrow we just think tomorrow, then Thursday we have the by-election. I hope we have a show on the by-election. We believe
All right.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we will definitely have a show. The November 27th by elections are not the end, they are the beginning. The rivalry, the fractures, the loyalties, and the strategies that will define Kenya's 2027 general election. And tonight, Kasipul, Mbeere, Kilifi, and Malava are more than just constituencies. They are mirrors reflecting the nation's political future. And with that, we come to the end of this particular edition of Africa 24. This has been 60 minutes. I am Mzalendo, and good night. And thanks for keeping me company with Brother Jose here and many, others. Asanteni sana. We salute you all who have been watching this particular edition.